Hello ladies and gentlemen, Paul TX141 Walsh here, also known as Brit in a Spit, welcoming you to an all-new lap guide for Gran Turismo Sport. This guide focuses on the circuit Autodrome Lago Maggiore East, as will be featured in the upcoming first round of Season 6 of the Acelith Design Endurance Championship in 2020. With a race involving cars from the Gr.3 class, this guide will showcase hot laps from one car within each of the available drivetrain subclasses. For the FR or the front engine rear wheel drive drivetrain, it will be the Toyota GR Supra Racing Concept, and for the MR or mid engine rear wheel drive drivetrain, it will be the Porsche 911 RSR. The order of content in this video will be as follows. Firstly, an initial review of the track in terms of its turns and sectors, along with thoughts on the type of car that will be best suited to the track. Secondly, a breakdown of a hot lap in terms of braking points, acceleration zones and other items of note, such as track limits. And then finally, the two hot laps, with introductions summarising the key differences between each hot lap with respect to the strengths and weaknesses of each drivetrain. As may be seen from the circuit map, the east variant of the Autodrome Lago Maggiore circuit is a clockwise circuit which incorporates the first half of the full Grand Prix circuit, amounting to 11 turns as split across 3 sectors. Starting with Sector 1, the circuit opens with a low-speed handling sector consisting of 4 corners. These 4 corners may be split into pairs, with the leading corner of each pair testing the driver's ability to get the most time out of the leading corner whilst placing the car well for the following corner in the pair. The first pair, turns 1 and 2, sees drivers initially brake from in excess of 140 mph down to typically second gear to both attack the apex of turn 1 and set the car up for braking into turn 2. Turn 2 in itself forms the first of 3 hairpin type corners at the circuit, requiring drivers to brake even more and normally drop down to first gear in order to get the best possible line through the hairpin. The second pair, turns 3 and 4, follows, starting with a medium speed corner that requires drivers to take as tight a line as possible in order to set themselves up well for braking into turn 4. Turn 4 meanwhile is a low speed corner which encourages drivers to exploit track limits in order to get the best possible launch onto the straight that ends Sector 1. Cars which are optimised for low speed handling, typically the MR drivetrain, will thrive in this sector. Sector 2 presents a medium speed handling sector starting with Turn 5, which is the second of 3 hairpin corners at the circuit. This hairpin is unique in that its braking zone is downhill and the width of the track throughout the corner is wide, challenging both a driver's ability to trail brake into the corner and confidence in applying the throttle upon exit. The rest of the sector focuses on a triple chicane of turns 6 to 8, which is initiated via a light braking zone into turn 6. Turns 7 and 8 then follow, with an emphasis on drivers needing to exploit track limits in order to attack these corners with as close to full throttle as possible. Car placement for these 3 corners is critical to achieving both the best possible sector time for Sector 2 and the highest possible entry speed into Sector 3. As this sector involves a mixture of medium speed handling corners and acceleration zones, most cars will enjoy this sector and it will be down to the driver to optimise their racing line to set the best possible sector time, especially through the triple chicane. Sector 3 concludes the lap with a simple composition of 3 corners. Turns 9 and 10 form a full throttle high speed chicane which sees drivers continue to build the momentum they have gained upon exit from Sector 2. Turn 11 forms the final hairpin corner of the circuit, commencing with a heavy braking zone that will see drivers brake from approximately 150 mph down to either second or first gear. Whilst taking the hairpin, drivers will need to be wary of hitting the raised curb on the inside of the corner, which can unsettle the car and delay the rate at which they exit the corner. Drivers are encouraged to use the full width of the circuit upon exiting this corner in order to get the best possible launch down the start-finish straight to complete their lap. Given this sector is full throttle minus the heavy braking zone for Turn 11, cars which are optimised for straight line speed, particularly the FR drivetrain, will excel here. As for my overall thoughts on the circuit, given the circuit consists of a vast variety of corners and types of braking zone, I feel that the track is not suited to any particular drivetrain. The handling cars, the MR drivetrain, will initially be stronger in Sector 1, but will find parity with their FR counterparts in Sector 2 before being exposed in the full throttle zones of Sector 3. As a result, it will be up to the driver to obtain a strong understanding of their vehicle's characteristics as applied to this circuit in order to achieve the best possible lap time. In this lap breakdown, we shall be riding on board the FR drivetrain car, the Toyota GR Supra Racing Concept. In terms of the car settings, balance of performance is on, racing super soft tyres have been fitted to the car, fuel and tyre wear are off, brake balance has been set to 0, and traction control has been set to 0. These settings have been used for all of the hot laps that shall be shown in this video to provide a fair comparison between the laps. I judged my braking point for turn 1 based on the end post of the grandstand fence that is on the right hand side of the circuit. Note that as I trail brake into the corner, I am timing my downshifts accordingly to take as tight as possible a line to the apex whilst keeping the car stable. My braking point for turn 2 is based on the end of the white marking that lies among the grass on the right hand side of the circuit. Note that as I brake into the corner, I initially pull the car slightly to the left to help widen my line of approach into the hairpin. This will assist me in rotating the car through the apex and being able to get on the throttle sooner for exiting the corner. Whilst I am gradually building the throttle as I begin to exit turn 2, I use this blue billboard as an indicator of when I should be getting ready to straighten the steering wheel so that I can increase the throttle from approximately 30% to the full 100%. My lifting and turning points for turn 3 are based around where the horizontal white line for the track limits of the west variant of the Autodrome Lago Maggiore circuit intersect with the vertical white line for the outer track limit of the entry into turn 3. I shall begin turning in before I cross this line, whereas I shall begin lifting off the throttle as I cross this line. My aim here is to have an exit line which is tight to the left hand side of the track so that I can set myself up for turn 4. The track limits for turn 3 are defined by the white line on the inside of the apex curb. You will receive a track limit infringement penalty should you put more than 2 wheels beyond this line. My braking point for turn 4 is based on the start of this orange safety barrier on the right hand side of the circuit. My turning point for turn 4 is in line with the final black-white Proxys billboard on the left hand side of the circuit. My aim for this corner is to turn in early so that I can drive across the apex curb, thereby cutting the corner and allowing me to get on the throttle as soon as possible to start building up speed in the run down to turn 5. It should be noted that the track limits for this corner are extremely lenient. With respect to the apex curb, so long as you keep your 2 left-hand wheels either on the white-red curb or to the left of it, you will not receive a track limit infringement penalty. As for the exit curb, you can run beyond the white-red curb so long as you do not put more than 2 wheels onto the red painted surface that lies beyond the grey runoff area to the left of the exit curb. My braking point for turn 5 is just as I am about to pass the end of the grey rumble strip that runs on the left hand side of the circuit in the build up to this corner. As the braking zone for this corner is downhill, my aim here is to trail brake gently into this corner while simultaneously gradually turning into the apex. If done correctly, this will enable me to take a tight line through the corner and thereby start building the throttle upon reaching the apex. It is this challenge of nailing a tight line through this corner that makes turn 5 the most difficult for this circuit in my opinion. My acceleration point for exiting turn 5 is as soon as I feel the car touch the apex curb. Note how I initially apply a very small amount of throttle to confirm that the car is settled before rapidly increasing the throttle to extend my exit from the corner and use the full width of the track. I judged my braking point for turn 6 between the start of the entry curb and the grey runoff area as found on the right hand side of the circuit. My turning point for turn 6 is as I pass the start of the grey tyre barrier on the right hand side of the circuit. Note that I do not have a defined acceleration point for this corner, instead I build the throttle as I feel the front end of the car bite into the corner with the aim of placing the car's left hand wheels on the apex curb of the corner. If I am successful in doing this, then the car will bite into the corner even more and I can immediately start to go full throttle to exit the corner and enter turn 7. With turn 7 being flat out, my aim here as a minimum is to ensure the car's right hand tyres are placed on the apex curb to ensure the car bites into this second corner in the chicane sequence. It should be noted that the track limits for this corner can be exploited to straighten this corner in preparation for turn 8. So long as you keep your two left-hand wheels either on or to the left of the red-white apex curb, you will not receive a track limit infringement penalty. However, this line will require you to place your right-hand wheels on the grey runoff area, which offers significantly less grip compared to the track surface and the apex curb. This exposes you to the risk of your car becoming unsettled as you exit turn 7. My turning point for turn 8 is as soon as I can see the apex curb for the corner. Note that if I need to lift off the throttle briefly to make the corner, I will do so as I am about to hit this apex curb. Otherwise, this corner is full throttle. The track limits for turn 8 are quite lenient and thereby enable this corner to be taken as close as possible to full throttle at the apex. So long as you keep two wheels within the white track limit line, you will not receive a track limit infringement penalty. Turns 9 and 10 are to be taken flat out. Whilst I do not have specific turning points for either of these corners, my aim in both cases is to clip the apex curbs for these corners rather than hit them head on. Reason being, the curbs for these corners, particularly turn 10, are raised, meaning that cars with low ground clearance can be launched should they hit the curb head on. Instead, clipping the curbs will help rotate the car and enable you to build up maximum speed in the run down to turn 11. My braking point for turn 11 is as soon as I pass under the 100 metre brake board. My turning point for turn 11 is once I've passed the marshal's post on the right hand side of the circuit. My aim here is to use my car's right hand wheels to make contact with the apex curb and just clip the raised orange part of the curb. This will help rotate the car through the corner and enable me to start building the throttle as soon as I've passed the apex. With the lap breakdown covered, it is time for us to take a look at the two sample hot laps, starting with the FR drivetrain lap featuring the Toyota's GR Supra racing concept. This will be the uninterrupted version of the lap that was shown in the lap breakdown. The focus of this lap is in sectors 2 and 3, where the straight line power of the Supra in combination with its good medium to high speed handling characteristics allows it to gain lap time. Now moving on to the MR drivetrain, the focus of this lap is in sectors 1 and 2, where the stronger low to medium speed handling characteristics of the Porsche 911 allow me to be more confident in getting on the throttle through these sectors. However, note how I have to lift upon entry into turn 8 to make the corner. It is this lift, plus the fact that I slightly run wide of the apex of turn 5, which leads to this lap being 2 tenths down on that of the FR drivetrain. Otherwise, the hot laps are closely matched with the 911's handling advantage in Sector 1 being equal by the Supra's straight-line speed advantage in Sector 3. With that, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, comment or subscribe for future GT Sport videos. But until next time, as always ladies and gentlemen, stay safe, stay well and stay smiling.